Quit India Movement. The Quit India Movement, also known as the Bharat Chodo Andolan, was a movement launched at the Bombay session of the All India Congress Committee by Mahatma Gandhi on 9th August 1942 during World War II, demanding an end to British rule in India. After the British failed to secure Indian support for the British war effort with Cripps Mission, Gandhi made a call to do or die in his Quit India movement delivered in Bombay on 9 August 1942. At the Gowala Tank Maiden, Viceroy Linlithgow remarked the movement to be by far the most serious rebellion since 1857. The All India Congress Committee launched a mass protest demanding what Gandhi called an orderly British withdrawal from India. Even though it was at war, the British were prepared to act. Almost the entire leadership of the Indian National Congress was imprisoned without trial within hours of Gandhi's speech. Most spent the rest of the war in prison and out of contact with the masses. The British had the support of the Viceroy's Council of the All India Muslim League, the Hindu Mahasabha, the princely states, the Indian Imperial Police, the British Indian Army, and the Indian Civil Service. Many Indian British men Many Indian businessmen profiting from heavy wartime spending did not support the Quit India movement. The major outside support came from the Americans as President Franklin D. Roosevelt pressured Prime Minister Winston Churchill to give in to some of the Indian demands. Various violent incidents took place around the country against the British regime. The British arrested tens of thousands of leaders, keeping them imprisoned until 1945. Ultimately, the British government realized that India was ungovernable in the long run, and the question for the post-war era became how to exit gracefully and peacefully. The movement ended in 1945 with the release of jailed freedom fighters. Martyrs of this freedom movement include Mukanda Kati, Manda Hazra, Kanakata Bura, issued a one-rupee commemorative coin to mark golden jubilee of the Quit India movement. World War II and Indian involvement. In 1939, Indian nationalists were angry that the British Governor-General of India, Lord Linlithgow, brought India into the war without consultation with them. The Muslim League supported the war, but Congress was divided. At the outbreak of the war, the Congress Party had passed a resolution during the Warda meeting of the Working Committee in September 1939, conditionally supporting the fight against the Axis, but were rebuffed when they asked for the independence in return. If the war is to defend the status quo of imperialist possessions and colonies of vested interest and privilege, then India can have nothing to do with it. If, however, the issue is democracy and world order based on democracy, and India is intensely interested in it, if Great Britain fights for the maintenance and expansion of democracy, then she must necessarily end imperialism in her possession and establish full democracy in India. And the Indian people have the right of self-determination. A free democratic India will gladly associate herself with other free nations for mutual defense against aggression and for economic cooperation. Gandhi had not supported this initiative as he could not reconcile an endorsement for the war. He was a committed believer in non-violent resistance, viewed in the Indian independence movement, and proposed even against Adolf Hitler, Benito Mussolini, and Tajo. However, at the height of the Battle of Britain, Gandhi had stated his support for the fight against racism and of the British war effort, stating he did not seek to raise an independent India from the ashes of Britain. However, opinion remained divided. The long-term British policy of limiting investment in India and using the country as a market and source of revenue had left the Indian army relatively weak and poorly armed, and trained and forced the British to come not to contributions to Indian budget, while taxes were sharply increased and general level of prices doubled. Although many Indian businessmen benefited from increased world production, in general business felt rebuffed by the government and in particular the refusal of the British Raj to give India a greater role in organizing and mobilizing the economy for wartime production. Subhash Chandra Bose remarked that a new chapter in Indian freedom struggle began with the Quit India movement. After the onset of the World War, Bose had organized the Indian Legion in Germany, reorganized the Indian National Army with Japanese assistance, and soliciting help from the Axis powers, conducted a guerrilla war against the British authorities. Viceroy Linlithgow remarked the movement to be by far the most serious rebellion since 1857 in his telegram to Winston Churchill on 31st August. He noted, "I am engaged here in meeting by far the most serious rebellion since that of 1857, the gravity and extent of which we have so far concealed from the world for reasons of military security. Mob violence remains rampant over large tracts of the countryside, and I am by no means confident that we may not see in September a formidable attempt to renew this widespread sabotage of our war effort. The lives of Europeans in outlying places are in jeopardy." American Republican presidential candidate Wendell Willkie planned to meet Gandhi. Linlithgow demanded it to be American interference in our business and asked Churchill to dissuade them. The Indian nationalists knew that the United States strongly supported Indian independence in principle and believed the US was an ally. However, after Churchill threatened to resign if pushed too hard, the US quickly supported him while bombarding Indians with propaganda designed to strengthen public support of effort. The poorly run American operation annoyed the Indians,